Good evening, everyone. So, welcome back to another Thursday night of Let's Talk Live with the Mindset Maven. I am your host, Shayla Bryan, the International Mindset Maven. So, Let's Talk focuses on how to get back dominion over your mind and your life. Now, we do this through dynamic teachings as well as conversations with powerful mavens who come from all walks of life and all other different industries. They come and contribute, they come and impart knowledge and wisdom and help us see what ways we can actually break through limiting beliefs, boundaries, and also, most importantly, teach us how to really live an optimal life, right? So, if you have been following me, you know that every single Thursday I am here on a 7:30 time, just coming to just impart a little bit of wisdom. And I'm excited about this season too, because this season I'm really talking diligently and I'm also living my best life and really displaying that so that women who are following me, who are reaching out to me, who are sending me messages, that these weekly conversations help them. I am really excited to see what 2021 will look like for you. So my mission is to help women become bold, courageous, and take action. So if you haven't already, the last previous weeks, definitely visit my YouTube channel, subscribe, and check out the previous weeks where I have talked about, where are you able to identify the issues in your life that are preventing you or keeping you stagnant from living an optimal life. So this week itself, I'm going to talk about having a vision, right? Why is it important to have a vision? Scripture tells us, and I'm going to go straight into the Proverbs because the Proverbs is one of my favorite books. I'm an avid reader. I love books. And one of my favorite scriptures is the book of Proverbs. So the Proverbs 29 and 18 says that where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he, right? So it is important to have a vision in order to have happiness, in order to be fulfilled. And you will understand later on when it comes to the key to your true fulfillment and your true joy in life is to have a vision for yourself. But a lot of people don't know. I've heard so many people say they don't know why they're here. They don't know their true purpose. They don't know really why is it that they're every day they're waking up and they just don't understand what they need to be doing. Well, it's really not that hard. It sounds more complicated than what it is. I know many people talk over time. You hear a lot of powerful speakers, entrepreneurs, motivational mavens. You hear it all the time. People tell you got to find your passion, find your passion. Well, it's not that simple. Some people just don't believe that there is a particular thing that they should be doing. Rather, they do many things. That's why you have serial entrepreneurs, right? You have people who have multiple gifts, multiple talents. You have people who can sing, they can dance, they can act, right? They can sew. And, so there's so many facets that as who we are as people. The most important thing that I want to encourage women to do is to find your curiosity, find the things that daily suits your spirit and listen to the whispers of your heart, right? So I want to go into why the book of Proverbs is one of my favorite books, because it kind of contrasts two different women. If you read scriptures like I read it, the book of Proverbs kind of is displaying a woman, right? It sounds like some old grandma who comes and tells you about the things that you should do and shouldn't do. So it's kind of like entertaining two women in your life, two aunties or two grandmas, So one of them is characterized as Lady Wisdom, who's the righteous woman, ready and waiting and calling out on every highway and byway for everyone to listen to her to do the right thing. So that's Lady Wisdom when it comes to the book of Proverbs, right? Now you have other characteristics of the Proverbs talking about Lady Wisdom, but then you have now Madame Folly. So it's a contrast of personalities, correct? Kind of personifies women. So Madame Folly, her goal is to lead you astray, persuade you to make foolish choices, and create a shipwreck of your life. An impulsive, rash decision making that can set you on a destructive course. So here's what we're talking about when it comes to vision, right? So having a vision for your life, it is more than likely one of the most important things that you can do. That doesn't require money. It doesn't require being a genius. It does not require you having all the talents in the world. It just simply requires to know who you are. It's really where it starts. And having a true desire to live and to experience life fulfilling, right? Fulfilling your goals and conquering those goals and achieving goals and doing things that are greater than yourself. Okay. So I can tell you right now that from not just personal experience, but by being in the industry of public speaking, and I've traveled throughout this country as well as I've traveled international. And I can tell you, speaking to so many people, I've heard it across the board. They said, Pablo Picasso said it as well, that everything you can imagine is real. And I'll prove it to you, right? Think about everything that is surrounding you, right? Everything that is tangible, everything that is visual, everything that is audible, and even anything you can taste is real. So that means that if you can imagine your life, whatever that might be for you, whatever it is that you might want to have a life, whatever that might be, you can have it. There should be no one, people are going to tell you the most closest people to you, friends, family, right? Spouses, children, whomever, they're going to be the first people who tell you what you can and cannot have, and what you can or cannot do, right? But you having a concrete vision, a visual of what life you want to have is really the beginning of true fulfillment of purpose on this earth. Okay, there's no true straight path or walk when it comes to the journey of fulfilling your call, whatever it is that you are on this earth to do. You will discover it little by little. Okay, successful people of all walks of life use the power of vision to make their life better and healthier and happier. The power of vision. I know for me, and I'll give you a perfect example, after having 4 children, I've gained some weight, but I've always saw myself, even after having my children, I always saw myself back to my pre-pregnancy weight, right? I visualized my body, myself as a mom with my 4 children, but in a woman's body pre-pregnancy. Now, the goals that I've set for myself to get to that place has been clearly changing my lifestyle of eating, changing my lifestyle of what I was doing with my spare time, and now utilizing my spare time to physical activity and to be dedicated and to be consistent. And most importantly, to know that this is something that I am committed to achieving. So here's something that I want to leave you with this evening. I hope that you're taking notes, because I know tonight's conversation is going to be one that not just inspires you, but that's going to motivate you, encourage you, and hopefully trigger you that you don't wait for 2021, for it is not promised. The only time you have is today, right now. That's the only time you have. So we want to get very much, I don't want to get too deep into having a vision, because all it takes is just waking up with gratitude every single day and knowing that today you plan on doing something greater than you did yesterday. And that's by having vision and writing it down. Writing down things that are going to help you become a better person. You writing down activities that you plan on doing or you desire to do, because we can create plans, but the reality is that God is going to be the ones whose plans are going to always manifest. But if they're in alignment with God's plans for your life, I guarantee you, mark my words, if your plans are in alignment with God's plans, they're going to manifest. There's no doubting that, and you can prove me wrong. So going back to visualizing your life, it is important that you have a clear vision of your life, because otherwise other people will have one for you. Okay. And that is important, that you know that every single day you can take one step and you can strive towards accomplishing goals. And I can tell you, one of the greatest boosters of confidence for women is conquering, smashing, achieving goals, right? You can talk to any woman who is doing something great with their life. They can tell you where their confidence comes from. It's because they're setting goals and they're smashing, they're grabbing those goals by their horns like a bull, and they are running with it, and they're making something happen. All right. So it is important that you take real accountability as well. Also, when it comes to having a visual for your life, you need to be able to know that it is a practical, but yet, I want to say, realistic. Okay. It is important to be realistic with your life. Goals it doesn't take much to write down goals. It doesn't take a lot to write down goals. A notepad, a pen and a notepad, and you write down every single day. You want to eat healthier. You want to learn how to cook healthier. You want to work out so that you can, get to a certain weight. You want to perhaps learn a new trade, a new skill. You want to go back to school. You may just want a new career, a new job. So those are things that I call goals. It's something that's going to challenge you to get out of your comfort zone and become a better person. And, even discovering the greatest potentials that you have. You discover yourself when you write down goals, when you can write down and visualize what it looks like for you. There's going to be a couple key things that I'm going to break down when it comes to having a visual of your best life and optimal life. All right. So one of them is that you need to determine what it is that you really want. You got to be determined that whatever it is that you're seeking to accomplish is going to get done. You can't pay nobody else to do it, right? So that means that you're going to have to go through what we call the sweat equity process of making sure that you can achieve that thing. So creating a visual of your life is just the act of recreating a sound, recreating a feeling, just creating an image in your mind, and then involving what you call activity or practice behind that to make sure that it's manifestation, okay? So faith without works is dead. You can have all the vision of your, of what your life can look like, but if you don't put forth effort behind that, if you don't put the work behind that, and just know that consistency is also something that will pay off eventually, you would not accomplish anything you set out to. It just won't happen. So you can have a vision, but one of my key things and something I preach, practice, and live is to take action, right? You got to do it. You got to put in the work. It is very important to put in their work. So determine what you really want. So before you begin to visualize that life that you want, the health that you want, the body that you want, the finances that you want, you have to have a clear picture. When you have a clear picture of that, then you need to reconcile with accountability. Sometimes it takes you to get knowledge. It may take you some, accountability, reaching out, getting a coach, getting sign up for school so that you can have professional help. Right? That is what it takes when you determine what you really want. Now you have to put in the work and you need to now get out of your own way. And it's important to have accountability. I am so grateful that I have, when it comes to my workout weekly, I'm sure you guys see me posting every single day. Since October, I have been working out with Tashi's Fitness. Such an amazing, dope woman. I love her to pieces. She's so accountable. She makes no excuses, right? So it's important that you keep up with people who are keeping up with themselves, right? Because they're going to challenge you to make sure that you stay on track and stay on point. So for those ladies who are also working along and jumping along with me for the month of December, kudos to you. It's accountability. You don't have to jump every single day with me, but you're at least walking, you jogging, you're doing some physical activity that keeps you going every single day. And over a period of time, I guarantee you made a determination that you want to, set yourself a goal, and you are doing this every single day. It's going to be some time before you can see the results, but the results will come because you're putting in the work, right? So sometimes you're going to feel like, today I don't feel like doing it. You may make an excuse here or there, but you cannot make, long-term decisions on a temporary feeling, because one day that you say, I don't feel like doing it today, that is the beginning of now adapting the mindset that if you don't feel like doing it, you won't do it. But it's not about a feeling, it's about the commitment. So get right with your commitments. Make sure that you are taking your commitments, because if you can stay committed to you, then everything else that is attached to, that's coming to you, that's attached to you, will manifest, because you're committed to yourself. Okay, so there's going to be negativity that's going to come your way. That is something you can't avoid, right? You have people who will be negative, who will judge, who will criticize you. That is just life, right? But my most important asset that I have now, that I've learned in my years of really searching and discovering me, is that I am in charge of my own happiness. I am the one who dictate personally. I dictate my wins and my losses. Nobody tells me that I've lost anything. Nobody has, to tell me what I'm good at or great at, because I know that for myself. So it is important that you can know who you are, right? That is so critical, is having a clear understanding and an idea of who you are. That way you don't need the validation of other people. You don't need it. Because if you're seeking it, there's 90% of people who are more negative than they are positive. Now, it is also another important part of, having the manifestation of the life that you visualize is being detailed. Be detailed about the things that you want. Be specific, right? Be intentional, but be specific. Um, you can want something today and then you change your mind tomorrow, but having details about the things that you want can be so it can be so detrimental to whether or not you can achieve something. And I'll give you a perfect example. I set myself a goal that I was going to travel once a month. And every single month when I travel, I am going to go to do something new. I'm going to discover something new. I'm going to travel alone. I just love traveling, so I'll travel alone, right? But I'm detailed and specific about where I'm going, how long I'm staying, how much money I'm going to be spending. So those little small details are already pre-planned. I already have them written down so that when I'm traveling and I'm where my destination is, then I know what I'm doing, right? And I'm not just all over the place and flustered and don't know what it is that's going on. So it is important that you have details, that you make sure that all of your five senses are working in tune and together when you're putting together these visualizing plans. And then when you put the work behind it, guess what? By default, manifestation will happen. One thing that I learned over the past few years that really struck a nerve for me as I continue to, be a vessel in the marketplace is that nobody is like me. Nobody can do what I do. No one can speak like I speak, and nobody be me. There's many, many people that may want to maybe imitate, whatever you call it, but nobody can truly be me. So when it comes to the clients that I am teaching and coaching, I want to emphasize that something I also want them all to walk away from my coaching classes and courses is that they need to be able to know that there is nobody like them. So there's nobody like you, right? There's nobody else who can do what you do. So that means that you have to learn to be yourself and be okay with being yourself. Understand that you are not for everybody. And I've said this a few times, that I may not be everyone's cup of tea, and that's the reason why there is coffee, right? So I don't have to be for everybody. You don't have to be for everybody. But the bottom line is that who is for you is for you. So you by default will be able to attract those people as you continue to visualize a life that is optimal, that is healthier, that is happier. And let me tell you one thing that is mostly, challenging for people is needing somebody to help them do something. If you cannot be a self-starter, if you cannot pick your own self up, I guarantee you people will definitely give up on you, right? Anyone around you, your friends, your family, your loved ones, those are the very first people. I mean, there's very few lucky people who have loved ones who cheer them on, right? Who support them, who are there. But let me tell you, the majority of people, you hear it all the time. The majority of people will tell you that their friends and families, the closest people to them, are the ones who just really want to see them fail. They're just watching you to see you fail. They're watching you to see you give up. They're watching you to laugh at you, right? They are watching so that they can say, I told you so. They are watching so that they can say, you should have known that wasn't going to work. But you know what? You don't have to give them that satisfaction, right? You don't have to give anybody the satisfaction to say that, you know what? You should have known that wasn't going to work. You should have known that was a bad idea. It's okay. It's okay for things not to work out, because why? If you've never done something before and it's your first time doing it, guess what? You're going to need to do it again and again and again until you get really good at it, right? So here's what I want to wrap up and sum up when it comes down to visualizing that life that you desire to live. And it's daily work. It's daily effort. You cannot and you would not be a confident woman if you do not set out goals for yourself. Most importantly, if you don't believe in yourself, right? That's another key factor that I've come to realize that is something that keeps a lot of women stuck and stagnant, is that they're lacking beliefs. So one of my missions is to help women develop, good, healthy habits, practices, so that way that they can do every single day, they can do something that's going to now, open them up to their self-discovery, their self-affirmation, their self-power, and most importantly, self-discovery by knowing who they are and what they're capable of doing. So limiting beliefs can keep you stuck, right? If you have a limiting belief, then you cannot have a bigger vision for your life. So one of them has to go. One of them has to go. So I want to encourage, the ladies that are, again, who are part of, this month's challenge. I want to make sure that I emphasize tonight that you have to keep going. You got to make sure that you continue to put yourself first. It is important that you put yourself in a space of priority. Think about traveling. When you get on a plane, before the takeoff, right, the flight attendant gets into the center area of the aircraft and she begins to give the emergency instructions. And she says, in the event of an emergency and it's a lack of oxygen, when the mask comes down from the ceiling, the top, the most important person that needs to put on that mask is you. While you are now saving yourself, you can then be an aid to someone else. So here's where you want to start taking now for you every single day going forward is you help yourself, you nourish yourself, you self-care, right? You self-affirm. You have to be able to put yourself in a position to then have enough to give to somebody else. You cannot give what you do not have. So the bigger picture here today, what we're talking about is visualizing an optimal life for you. Living a happier, healthier life. And it's not complicated. For some people, it may require a little extra couple of dollars. For some people, it may require leaving one person behind. For some, it may require uprooting themselves and moving to a new environment. For everybody, it's a different journey to live an optimal life. But here's the question. If you know what that looks like, are you working towards it? And if you don't, that's okay. We can definitely help you identify where it is that you want to go. How can you really just move the fog out of your life and then have a clear vision of what 5, 15, 20 years from now, what will that look like? Even though we know that tomorrow isn't promised, it doesn't mean that you cannot think or dream or visualize yourself in a different place from where you are today. So with that said, thank you so much, guys, for joining me tonight. I hope that you can really take away something from tonight about, visualizing the life that you desire. Do not wait. Do not wait for 2021, for it isn't promised to anyone, right? Do not wait. If you can help it, definitely take tonight. Have a talk with yourself, right? I always talk about internal chatter. Have a conversation with yourself. Make sure that you have a clear and concise idea of where you want in life to be, what do you want to accomplish, where do you see yourself, and this has to be a personal commitment and determination to reach that. I'm also going to be tomorrow, before I forget, I'm going to be tomorrow joining Quadira Tiart and on the Manifestor Summit. It's a virtual summit, guys. It's absolutely free. I will be talking about manifesting the woman that you want to be, right, into existence. That is going to be the topic of my conversation tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you to join us tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Registration is absolutely free. It will be also broadcasted on Facebook. The link should be somewhere on my Facebook page. To definitely enroll and get the link for you to get to that live. But let me tell you right now that manifesting, right? Manifesting is two things. One is to have a vision, and two is to speak it. When you can visualize something about your life and yourself, and you can now begin to speak those words, I guarantee you the universe is listening. For those who speak life, by default, you shall see life manifested around you. So with that said, guys, it's an absolute pleasure being with you every single Thursday. Thank you for joining me. For those who are catching the replay, be blessed. And until next week, Thursday, join me again as we're talking about affirmations to live an optimal life. So that means you're going to have to speak it, right? So have a blessed night, everybody. Until next week, Thursday.